If you have to judge people, judge them based on what they can do, not on what they cannot. Judge them based on who they are, not what they aren't. Otherwise, you're judging based on your own shortcoming. Anonymous. Inclusion classrooms have been a long debated topic among educators, parents, and researchers. Today I'm going to persuade you as to why inclusion classrooms should be mandated in all schools. I will discuss the three types of inclusion classrooms, co-teaching and its benefits, benefits for both sets of students, and a little about IEPs. Inclusion classrooms are defined as students with disabilities that are supported in chronologically age-appropriate general education classes in their home schools and receive that specialized instruction delineated by their IEP within the context of the core curriculum and general class activities. This definition was produced by the FSU Center for Prevention and Early Intervention Policy. The video I'm about to show is going to talk to you a little more about inclusion classrooms.
Inclusive classrooms contain a wide variety of students with diverse learning needs. To successfully meet those needs, teachers must possess an equally wide variety of instructional strategies and approaches.
The best kind of classroom for including children with special needs is the classroom that's being run for diverse learners in the first place, where lots of different strategies and approaches are being taken to instruction. In these kinds of classrooms, all children can be successful.
An extensive repertoire of practical ideas and strategies enables a teacher to not only tailor instruction to children's special needs, but to infuse whole group and small group instruction with a rich diversity of approaches. The result? All students have greater access to learning, higher levels of involvement, and increased motivation.
Most of the strategies that work in an inclusive classroom for kids with disabilities work really well for the other kids in the classroom too. Simple, easy, practical strategies are always the best for all kids because they're the ones that we as teachers have the time and energy to actually use. So you don't need a lot of exotic, expensive, time-consuming strategies to make inclusion work.
As the video stated, inclusion classrooms bring only nothing but benefits for both students and teachers. The first type of inclusion classroom is mainstreaming. This has been used to refer to the selective placement of special education students in one or more regular education classrooms. Proponents of mainstreaming generally assume that a student must earn his or her opportunity to be placed in regular classes by demonstrating an ability to keep up with the work assigned by the regular classroom teacher. This is given by the Wisconsin Education Association Council. The second type of classroom is inclusion. It involves bringing the support services to the child and requires only that the child will benefit from being in the class. The third and final type of classroom is full inclusion. All students, regardless of handicapping condition or severity, will be in a regular classroom or program full time. In an interview on April 6th with my mom, I asked her how inclusion classrooms worked with my brother. And when he was diagnosed with autism, they weren't very well known because there wasn't a lot known about autism back then. But today he's in inclusive classrooms, which really help his social skills, which I'll talk about later. The poster that I have shows some information on inclusion classrooms. The next point I'm going to discuss is co-teaching. All this information was given by the Wisconsin Education Association Council. So the first thing for co-teaching is it cuts school costs because of use of less classrooms. By combining special ed classrooms into regular classrooms, it'll take up less space and less classrooms that the school has to pay for. The second point. Co-teaching is one regular teacher and one special education teacher, teaching in one classroom to help both regular and special ed students. The third, create curriculum together. There are two ways that co-teaching can be done. The regular classroom teacher can create a curriculum and pass it on to the special ed teacher to make special adjustments for his or her students. The second way is that these two teachers can come together and create a co-teaching curriculum that can be done together. The final. Both teachers can assist all students. This allows for normal teachers to help the special ed students and the special ed teachers to help the normal students. They'll each get a feel on how both sets of students work and how they can help each of those. The next is benefits for both sets of students. Socialization. This is one of the best things for inclusion classrooms. It will allow normal students to socialize with special education students. They are not always faced with these disabled kids on a daily basis, so including them in a classroom together will also bring the second point, gaining knowledge. They will be able to gain knowledge about different disabilities and how to accept those with disabilities. They'll also be able to see them as their own peers and not as outsiders. The third, conversation. A lot of disabled or special needs children have problems with conversational skills. By including them in classrooms, they'll be able to have conversations with their normal peers and normal teachers. And finally, interactions. The daily interactions that both sets of students and both sets of teachers will have with each other is a great part of inclusion classrooms. The students will get to interact with each other and gain new knowledge and socialize on a daily basis. This only leaves benefits for both sets of students and teachers. IEPs. IEPs play a big role in special education students' education. IEPs are individualized education programs. The definition of them is they describe the educational program that has been diagnosed to meet the child's unique needs. This is given by the Concord Special Education's organization. They can include many things such as the student's disability, long-term goals, short-term goals, accommodations and modifications, teaching appropriate behavior, summer services, transportation, types of placements, and descriptions of disability effects in the classroom. As I said in a prior speech, my brother is autistic. This is one of his IEPs. As you can see, it's pretty lengthy and a lot goes into these. So going back to co-teaching, the teachers have to learn how to implement IEPs into regular classrooms too. From the book Inclusion Pros and Cons, by interacting with their disabled peers, students will have opportunities to develop positive attitudes toward, tolerate of, understanding of, and true friendships with those who are different from themselves. Indeed, studies show that the general population are more accepting, understanding, and socially aware of differences when they are incorporated into integrated classrooms. I do have a couple of statistics on this. The most shocking one is that only 5% of school children are reported as having a learning disability, but an estimated 15% of students are believed to have some form of learning disabilities. This is from Terrence Kavanaugh, University of North Florida. So as you can see, inclusion classrooms are nothing but beneficial. Both students and teachers will gain something from inclusion classrooms. Today I discussed the 3 types of inclusion classrooms, co-teaching, the benefits for both sets of students and teachers, and IEPs. I hope I have persuaded you that inclusion classrooms are nothing but beneficial and should be implemented in all schools. As Clay Aiken once said, the message I'll share is that inclusion is extremely important for kids with and without disabilities.